Zerl tapped his long, blue finger against the holographic display, frowning. Something was wrong with the map. Again. "Computer, run diagnostic scan on Sector 3447, he ordered, his four eyes blinking in sequence. The computer chimed. No errors detected. All mapping systems functioning at optimal capacity. Zyril had been the senior galactic cartographer for 15 cycles. In all that time, he had never seen anything like this, a perfect black circle in the map where a solar system should be. The void remained in exactly the same spot no matter how many times he rescanned the area. "Computer, show me the historical data for this sector." The screen filled with images spanning 50 years. The black circle was present in every single one. Zyril sat back in his hovering chair. This wasn't a glitch or equipment failure. The void was deliberate. Someone or something was hiding an entire solar system from the Galactic Council's eyes. 3 hours later, Zyril stood before the Galactic Council. 7 representatives from the most powerful species in the known universe stared down at him from their high seats. "Esteemed council members," Zyril began, "I have discovered an anomaly that requires immediate attention." He displayed the map showing the black void. "This area has been completely invisible to our scanning technology for at least 50 years. We have sent 17 probes to investigate. None returned. Whatever exists in this location has technology far beyond our understanding." The Triloxian counselor waved a dismissive tentacle. "A simple equipment malfunction. Replace your outdated systems, cartographer." "With respect, counselor, this is not a malfunction." Zyril highlighted the perfect circular edge of the void. "Nature does not create perfect circles. This is artificial and intentional." Murmurs spread through the council chamber. The chairperson, a tall, crystalline being, leaned forward. "What do you propose, cartographer Zyril?" "A direct expedition. We must discover who or what is capable of hiding from us in plain sight." 12 light-years away, in an underground facility beneath the Rocky Mountains on Earth, an alarm beeped softly. Dr. Elena Rice looked up from her tablet. "Another scan attempt." Her assistant nodded. "The 17th this month. Same source as before. Galactic Council probe." Elena smiled. The shield was working perfectly. For 3 generations, Earth had maintained its invisibility. The technology her grandmother had developed continued to protect humanity from the dangers of the wider galaxy. "Did the probe self-destruct like the others?" she asked. "Yes, Doctor. The phase shift barrier redirected it into deep space, then triggered its fail-safe systems. To the Council, it will appear as if the probe simply vanished." Elena walked to the large viewing window overlooking the shield generator, a massive sphere of swirling energy that bent light, gravity, and reality itself around Earth. "They're getting more persistent," she said softly. "They know something's here. They just don't know what." Her assistant looked worried. "Should we be concerned?" Elena watched the pulsing blue energy of the shield. "No. Let them come. We've been preparing for this moment for 100 years. Earth remains invisible to alien eyes, but we see everything." She gestured to the wall of screens showing thousands of alien worlds. "Humanity has had plenty of time to study our neighbors. When first contact finally happens, we'll be ready." She didn't know how soon that day would come. "We've lost contact with Scout Ship Zenith 7. The words hung in the council chamber like a death sentence. The chairperson's crystalline form flickered with distress patterns. "Where was its last known position?" asked the Triloxian counselor, tentacles now trembling rather than dismissive. The security officer displayed a star map. A blinking red dot pulsed at the edge of the mysterious black void. Zyril stepped forward. "Precisely where I warned you not to send ships without proper investigation." The council could no longer ignore the evidence. Something in that black void had swallowed 18 probes and now a scout ship with a crew of 12. "Assemble an expedition," the chairperson ordered. "Not military, diplomatic. Whatever intelligence exists in that void, we must establish peaceful contact." The Triloxian objected. "Peaceful? They've destroyed our vessels. We don't know that, Zerl said. The void absorbs everything. Perhaps they're simply defending their space from uninvited guests. The council argued for hours before reaching a decision. They would send a diplomatic vessel with Ambassador Krex, a respected negotiator, leading the mission. Zerl would join as technical advisor, his knowledge of the void making him essential. Prepare the ship, the chairperson announced. You depart in 3 days. The alarm on Alina's desk sounded different this time. A high-pitched, urgent tone she had never heard before. What is it? She asked, rushing to the monitoring station. Her assistant's face had gone pale. It's not a probe. It's a full-sized ship heading directly toward the void barrier. Estimated crew of 30. Alina immediately called an emergency meeting. Within an hour, Earth's Defense Council gathered in the underground facility. The shield has worked perfectly for 70 years, General Rivera argued. Let the ship meet the same fate as the probes. Dr. Chen, the shield's chief engineer, shook her head. The shield wasn't designed to handle conscious beings. It redirects probes into deep space where they run out of fuel and self-destruct. Living creatures would be trapped in phase shift limbo. We'd be sentencing them to a fate worse than death. Alina studied the approaching ship's scan data. This isn't a military vessel. Look at the design. Minimal weapons, enhanced communication arrays. It's a diplomatic ship. They know we're here, Rivera realized. They suspect something is here, Alina corrected. They've sent diplomats instead of warships. That tells us something about them. The council fell silent, considering the implications. We've hidden long enough, Alina finally said. We've watched the galaxy, learned its languages, studied its cultures. We know more about them than they know about themselves. She looked around the table. I propose we make contact. Gasps and objections filled the room. Alina raised her hand. Not full disclosure. A controlled revelation. We lower the shield just enough to let their ship approach. We show them Earth exists, but not how advanced we truly are. It's too risky, Rivera argued. Riskier than leaving them in the dark while they grow more determined. Alina countered. What happens when they send a battleship next, or develop technology that can penetrate our shield? After heated debate, Alina's plan won approval by a narrow margin. Earth would reveal itself, partially. Ambassador Krex was explaining emergency protocols when the ship's sensors blared. Something's changing, the pilot shouted. The black void on their view screen flickered. Then slowly, like a curtain being pulled back, the darkness peeled away to reveal a blue-green planet orbiting a yellow star. Zerl stared in wonder. It was hiding. All this time, it was hiding. The communication console lit up with an incoming message, in perfect galactic standard. A calm voice spoke. Approaching vessel, this is Earth. We've been expecting you. Ambassador Krex had prepared for many possibilities. He had rehearsed greetings in 12 different language patterns. He had studied first contact protocols for primitive species who might be frightened by advanced technology. What he hadn't prepared for was a landing pad. The Earth authorities directed their ship to a massive floating platform in the middle of an ocean. As they descended, Krex saw sleek buildings rising from the water, their surfaces gleaming in the sunlight. This was no primitive world. They have advanced architecture, Zerl whispered, pressing his face against the view screen. And look there, those are spacecraft. Indeed, several vessels similar to their own were docked at the platform. The design was different, more streamlined, with no visible propulsion systems, but unmistakably interstellar capable. Impossible, muttered the ship's captain. Our surveys show no evidence of any species from this system traveling beyond their local star. That was the point, Zerl said slowly, realization dawning. They didn't want to be found. When the ship landed, they were greeted by a small delegation of humans, led by a woman with dark hair and serious eyes. Welcome to Earth. I am Dr. Alina Reyes, Director of Interstellar Relations. Her words came through the ship's translator perfectly. without the usual awkwardness of first contact translation. Krex bowed slightly. "I am Ambassador Krex of the Galactic Council. This is cartographer Zurl, who first noted your unusual presence on our maps." Alina smiled. Or rather, our unusual absence. She led them into a conference room with a large window overlooking the ocean. Once they were seated, Alina pressed a button, and holographic displays appeared above the table. Detailed maps of Galactic Council space, including territories even Krex wasn't familiar with. "You know us," Krex said, feeling unsettled. "We've been studying the galaxy for generations," Alina explained, "while remaining undetected ourselves." "How?" Zurl asked, professional curiosity overcoming his shock. "Even our most advanced cloaking technology can't hide an entire planet." Alina gestured, and the window darkened. A projection appeared, showing Earth surrounded by a shimmering blue field. "We call it the phase shield. It doesn't just hide Earth visually. It partially shifts us out of normal spacetime. Your probes didn't malfunction. They passed through where we should be without ever truly encountering us." The aliens stared in stunned silence. "But why?" Krex finally asked. "Why hide yourselves from the galactic community?" Alina's expression turned serious. "History has taught us caution. We observed how the Council treats newly discovered species." Images flashed across the screens, planets where native cultures had been overwhelmed by sudden technological advancement, worlds whose resources were being systematically harvested, species whose unique biological traits were being studied without their full understanding. "You monitored us," Krex said, his tone accusing. "For how long?" 200 of our years, Alina answered. "Long enough to learn your languages, understand your politics, and develop technologies that would keep us safe when we finally met." Zyril looked at the human with new respect. "You're more advanced than you appear." Alina smiled mysteriously. "This facility is designed to seem impressive but not threatening. It represents perhaps 30% of our actual technological capability." Krex felt a chill. The implications were staggering. A species that could hide an entire planet and had been watching the galaxy undetected for centuries. What else were they capable of? "The Council will want to know everything about you," he said. "And we'll share what we feel is appropriate," Alina replied calmly. "But understand this, Earth reveals itself by choice, not necessity. We remain in control of how much the galaxy learns about humanity." The message was clear. They were not dealing with a newly discovered primitive species, but with an equal, perhaps even a superior, who had chosen this moment to step out of the shadows. "There is something I want to show you," Alina said the next morning. "Something few non-humans have ever seen." She led Ambassador Krex, Zurl, and 2 other delegates to a high-speed elevator. When the doors closed, Alina pressed her palm against a scanner. "Authorization. Reyes, Alina. Security clearance Omega-7." The elevator dropped so quickly that Zurl's 4 eyes blinked rapidly in surprise. They descended far below the ocean platform, down into darkness. "How deep are we going?" Krex asked, trying to maintain his diplomatic composure. 3 kilometers beneath the ocean floor," Alina replied calmly. "The archives require special protection." When the elevator stopped and the doors opened, the aliens gasped. Before them stretched an enormous chamber, larger than the Grand Council Hall itself. The walls were lined with glowing data terminals. Hundreds of humans worked at different stations, monitoring screens filled with information from across the galaxy. "Welcome to the Observation Archives," Alina said. "For 2 centuries, we've collected information on every known intelligent species, government, and technology in the galaxy." She guided them to a central platform that rose into the air as they stepped onto it. Holographic displays surrounded them, showing thousands of alien worlds. "This can't be real," one of the delegates whispered. "No one could gather this much data undetected." Alina touched a control panel. "Computer, show file GC7734, Triloxian High Council. Private session, regarding resource allocation to outer colonies. The screen displayed a meeting room where tentacled Triloxian counselors argued about supply shipments. The recording was from just 3 weeks ago. Krex stared in shock. That meeting was classified at the highest level. Even most council members don't know what was discussed. We have similar files on all major powers, Alina explained. Political decisions, military capabilities, scientific breakthroughs. We've observed it all. Zerl moved closer to a nearby terminal, his cartographer's curiosity overwhelming his caution. Your observation network must be incredibly sophisticated to gather this data without detection. Alina nodded. We developed nanoscale observation devices that can travel through regular trade routes, carried unknowingly by merchant ships throughout the galaxy. As the aliens explored the archives, they realized humans knew more about certain aspects of galactic politics than the Council itself. Files contained detailed information about secret alliances, corruption, and conflicts that had been carefully hidden from public view. Meanwhile, in a private communication room, Ambassador Krex activated a secure channel. His true mission was more complex than simple diplomacy. "Report," commanded a stern voice from the other end. "These humans are dangerous," Krex whispered. "They've been watching us for centuries. Their technology exceeds our estimates. We must act quickly before they reveal themselves to the wider galaxy." "Understood. The containment fleet is already assembling. Keep them talking until we arrive." What Krex didn't know was that human security systems had intercepted his transmission before it even left Earth's atmosphere. In the monitoring center above the archives, Alina's assistant showed her the recording. "They're sending ships," he said, worry clear in his voice. Alina wasn't surprised. Of course they are. The Council fears what it cannot control. She watched Krex on the security feed as he rejoined the tour group, his false smile now obvious. "Should we confront him?" her assistant asked. Not yet. Alina's expression remained calm, but her eyes hardened. "Let's show our guests a few more of humanity's secrets first, particularly the ones about how we defend ourselves." She pressed a button, sending instructions to the tour guide. It was time to reveal why the galaxy should think very carefully before threatening Earth. The viewing chamber was shaped like a perfect sphere, with nothing but clear glass separating them from the deep ocean outside. Strange Earth fish with glowing bodies swam past, curious about the visitors. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Alina said, watching Krex's nervous movements. She knew he was stalling, waiting for the containment fleet. "But we didn't bring you here to admire the wildlife." She pressed a button on her wrist device. The lights dimmed, and a holographic model of Earth appeared in the center of the room. "You've seen our observation technology. Now it's time to explain how we've remained hidden for so long." Ambassador Krex tried to appear interested while secretly calculating how much longer he needed to delay the humans. "Yes, your phase shield. Quite remarkable." "You misunderstand," Alina said. "The phase shield isn't just a cloaking device. It's much more." She expanded the hologram, showing Earth surrounded by multiple layers of shimmering energy. "The shield doesn't just bend light around us or absorb scanning signals. It partially removes Earth from normal space-time." Zerl stepped forward, genuinely fascinated. "That's impossible. You can't phase shift an entire planet without destroying it." "Actually, you can." Alina smiled. "We learned how to create a bubble of altered reality around Earth. We exist simultaneously in normal space and slightly outside it." She pressed another button. The room darkened completely before tiny lights appeared all around them, thousands of small devices floating in the water. "These are micro-generators. There are millions of them in orbit around Earth, working together to create the field. When your probes or ships entered our space, they were passing through a dimensional barrier, not just a visual cloak." Krex couldn't hide his alarm. "Such technology violates fundamental laws of physics." "Only the laws of physics as the Council understands them," Alina corrected. "Humanity developed along a different scientific path. We focused on dimensional manipulation, while the Council races explored energy weapons and faster-than-light travel. Zyril moved closer to the floating lights, his scientific curiosity overcoming his fear. This is revolutionary. The equations needed to maintain stable partial phase shifting would be incredibly complex. They are, Elena agreed. It took 3 generations of Earth's best minds to perfect it. While the other delegates examined the technology in awe, Krex received an update through his hidden communicator. The containment fleet was approaching faster than planned. He needed to act. "Dr. Reyes," he said, forcing politeness into his voice, "this is all very impressive, but I must contact my ship for a scheduled check-in." Elena's expression didn't change. "Of course, Ambassador. But before you do, there's something else you should know." She touched her wrist device again. The room's view changed from underwater to space. They could now see Earth from orbit, and surrounding it was a massive energy field becoming visible as it activated fully. "You see, Ambassador, we intercepted your transmission. We know about the containment fleet." Krex's face drained of color. "I don't know what." "Please don't," Elena interrupted gently. "The time for deception is over. Your fleet will arrive in approximately 20 minutes, but they won't find what they're expecting." On the view screen, the phase shield grew brighter, changing from blue to brilliant white. "What are you doing?" Krex demanded. "Demonstrating why attacking Earth would be a mistake," Elena answered. "When fully activated, our shield doesn't just hide us. It can redirect any energy or matter that contacts it. Your containment fleet won't be destroyed. They'll simply find themselves elsewhere." Zyril looked at Elena with new understanding. "You're not just scientists. You're survivors." Elena nodded. "Humanity has always prepared for the worst while hoping for the best. Now, Ambassador Krex, shall we discuss a more productive path forward?" News traveled fast across the galaxy. Despite the Council's attempts to control information, word of Earth's existence spread like wildfire. Alien civilizations reacted with a mix of fear, curiosity, and outrage. On the Galactic Council's central world, an emergency session had been called. Representatives from all major species filled the Grand Chamber, their voices creating a storm of noise. "Order." The chairperson's crystalline form flashed with bright pulses. "We must address this situation calmly." A Xandari diplomat rose from his seat, his scaled skin flushed with anger. "Calmly. These humans have been spying on us for centuries. They have records of our private meetings, our defense systems, even our homes." Murmurs of agreement echoed through the chamber. The Triloxian representative waved several tentacles. "We must demand they surrender their observation technology immediately. No single species should have such power." "And if they refuse?" asked a small, furry delegate from the outer systems. "Their shield technology alone is beyond our ability to counter." The debate grew heated. Some council members demanded immediate sanctions against Earth. Others suggested offering alliance in exchange for access to human technology. The Council, which had stood united for 1,000 years, was fracturing along ideological lines. Meanwhile, Earth's leaders had gathered in the Global Assembly Hall in Geneva. Representatives from all human nations watched as Elena presented her report on the containment fleet incident. "The ships were redirected safely," she explained. "They emerged 50 light-years away, unharmed but unable to return quickly. It has given us time to prepare." "Prepare for what?" asked the Assembly President. "War." Elena shook her head. "I hope not." Ambassador Krex is now convinced that military action against Earth would be futile. But the political situation is complicated. She displayed a galactic map showing various power blocks forming. Some civilizations see us as potential allies against Council dominance. Others view us as dangerous outsiders who must be controlled. "What do you recommend?" the President asked. "We should invite selected representatives to Earth, on our terms. Not the full Council, but those who might be sympathetic. We need to build relationships while maintaining our security." After debate, the Assembly approved her plan. Earth would not bow to council demands to appear at their hearings. Instead, the mountain would come to Mohammed. Zerl found Alina in the observation deck, watching stars appear as evening fell. "Your message was urgent," he said, joining her at the window. "The council is splitting into factions," Alina said. "Some are calling for your arrest as a human sympathizer." Zyril nodded sadly. "Because I see the potential in cooperation rather than conflict." "We need your help," Alina said. "Earth is sending invitations to select representatives who might listen to reason. Will you help us choose wisely?" The cartographer studied her face. "You're suggesting an alliance." "I'm suggesting survival," Alina replied. "Something is coming, Zerl. Something worse than political upheaval." She showed him a data tablet containing records so old that Zerl had to adjust his 4 eyes to read the ancient script. "What is this?" he asked, his voice dropping to a whisper. "The real reason we built the shield," Alina said, "and why the council's oldest members are pushing so hard for control over Earth." As Zerl read, his skin paled. The tablet contained records of a pattern, civilizations rising, and then mysteriously vanishing throughout galactic history, not through natural disaster or war, but through systematic elimination. "Someone, or something, has been culling advanced species for millions of years," Alina said, "and I think some of your council members know about it." Zyril looked up, his eyes wide with horror. "Why would they hide this?" "To prevent panic," Alina said, "and to control how species develop, to keep them within acceptable parameters." "Parameters for what?" "That's what we need to find out," Alina replied, "before it's too late for all of us." Alina's office was crowded with screens. For the past week, she and Zerl had been searching through Earth's oldest observation records, looking for patterns that others had missed. There, Zerl pointed to a star system marked in red. The Benari civilization. They'd reached spaceflight capability, then vanished 20,000 years ago. Alina added it to their growing map. And the Lorians, 8,000 years before them. And the Vex, 12,000 years before that. A pattern was forming, every 20 to 30,000 years. Promising civilizations simply disappeared. No war, no natural disaster. They were there one day, gone the next. What could cause this? Zerl wondered, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly as he studied the data. Before Alina could answer, Ambassador Krex entered the room. After the containment fleet incident, he had changed sides, realizing the council was hiding something important. "I found something," he said, placing an ancient data crystal on the desk. This was in the restricted archives, accessible only to council elders. Alina connected the crystal to her computer. The screen filled with images that made them all go silent. Massive ships, unlike any known design, approaching populated worlds. Then the world's going dark. "They're called the Harvesters," Krex said quietly. "The oldest council races have known about them for millennia." "Why keep it secret?" Alina asked. "Fear," Krex replied, "and control. The council uses the threat to maintain order. They believe certain technological developments attract the Harvesters' attention." Zyril looked at the phase shield diagrams on Alina's wall, like dimensional manipulation technology. "Exactly," Krex nodded. "The council banned research in that field centuries ago." Alina paced the room, thinking. But Earth developed it anyway, unknowingly. And our shield protected us not just from the council, but from these Harvesters too. "Your sudden appearance has disrupted the normal cycle," Krex warned. "The Harvesters were not due for another 5,000 years. But now, we've accelerated the timeline," Alina realized with horror. She pulled up recent deep space scans. At the very edge of their observation range was something that shouldn't be there. A shadow moving against the stars, heading toward populated systems. "They're coming," she whispered. "How long do we have?" Krex studied the scans. "Months, not years." Alina made a decision. She pressed the emergency communication button on her desk. "This is Dr. Reyes. I need to address the Global Assembly immediately and send messages to all friendly alien representatives. Code Black. Within hours, Earth's leaders gathered along with representatives from 17 alien species who had accepted Earth's invitation. What we're about to show you will change everything you believe about galactic history, Elena began. The room darkened as she displayed the evidence they had gathered. Gasps and murmurs filled the room as the pattern became clear to everyone. Civilizations rising, then being systematically erased from existence. The Galactic Council has hidden this cycle of destruction for millennia, Elena explained. They believe certain technologies trigger these attacks. An alien diplomat rose. Why should we believe you? This could be human propaganda. Krex stepped forward. I have served the Council for 40 years. I can confirm everything Dr. Reyes has shown you is true. And the harvesters are coming, not in thousands of years, but now. The room erupted in panic until Elena's voice cut through the noise. We don't have time for fear. Earth has technology that can help protect us all, but we need to work together. The phase shield can be adapted to protect other worlds. She looked around the room, meeting the eyes of humans and aliens alike. We have a choice: stand divided and fall one by one, or stand together and fight for our right to exist. 3 weeks after the emergency meeting, Earth's orbital shipyards were busier than they had ever been. Ships from 17 alien worlds floated alongside human vessels, being fitted with modified phase shield generators. Elena watched from the command center as engineers from different species worked together, overcoming language barriers and biological differences to achieve what many had thought impossible. They're adapting better than I expected, Zyril said, joining her at the viewing window. Survival is a powerful motivator, Elena replied. Even old enemies will work together when facing extinction. On the main screen, reports showed the progress of human-alien teams spreading throughout the galaxy. Each carried the plans and components for shield generators to protect key worlds. The Triloxian homeworld is now shielded, an officer reported, and the Xendari colony worlds will be protected by the end of the week. Not everyone had joined their alliance. The older council members still denied the harvester threat, calling it human deception. They had forbidden their worlds from accepting shield technology. They're afraid of losing control, Krex explained as he entered the command center. For thousands of years, they've used the knowledge of the harvesters to maintain their power, even at the cost of countless lives. Elena asked. Krex nodded sadly. The Council's oldest members believe sacrifice is necessary. They think if they control which technologies develop and which don't, they can minimize losses when the harvesters come. The room fell silent as everyone considered the cold calculation behind such thinking. The silence was broken by an urgent message from a deep space monitoring station. Dr. Reyes, we're detecting multiple anomalies at the edge of the Draconis sector. Stars are disappearing. Elena moved quickly to the main console. The screen showed a section of space where several stars had simply winked out. It's starting, she said quietly. The harvesters are here. An emergency signal sounded throughout the command center. All ships, this is not a drill, Elena announced, her voice steady despite her fear. Operation Shadow Shield is now active. All teams proceed to your assigned sectors immediately. Across the galaxy, human and alien crews raced to complete shield installations before it was too late. Some would succeed, others would not. On a small agricultural world in the outer systems, engineer Maya Chen worked frantically to calibrate the final shield generator. The local aliens, tall, insect-like beings, helped as best they could, following her instructions with careful precision. Almost there, Maya told their leader. The shield will activate in 3 minutes. The alien looked up at the darkening sky. Will it be in time? The stars are going out. Maya followed his gaze. Where there had been a bright cluster of stars, now there was only blackness spreading across the night sky. It has to be, she whispered. Her communicator beeped with an incoming transmission from Earth. All outposts, Elena's voice came through clearly. We've confirmed the harvester pattern. They're targeting unshielded worlds first, working inward toward the galactic core. Hold your positions. Complete your missions. As the void in the sky grew larger, Maya connected the final power coupling. Activating now, she said, pressing the activation sequence. A shimmer of blue energy spread upward from the generators, racing to form a protective bubble around the planet. The frightened aliens watched in wonder as the shield locked into place. "Will it hold?" the alien leader asked. Maya looked up at the approaching darkness beyond the shield. "We're about to find out." The harvester ships were unlike anything humanity had ever seen. They didn't reflect light. They absorbed it. Massive black shapes that seemed to exist partially in another dimension, leaving ripples in reality as they moved. From Earth's command center, Alina watched the feeds from observation posts across the galaxy. 23 worlds were now protected by phase shields. 37 more were in progress. But over 100 inhabited planets remained completely vulnerable. "They're not attacking the shielded worlds," Zurl noted, studying the pattern of harvester movements. "They're moving around them." "For now," Alina said. "But what happens when there are no more unshielded targets?" The answer came sooner than expected. A transmission arrived from a research outpost near the Cygnus cluster. "Earth Command, this is Science Station Delta. We're observing unusual behavior from the harvester ship in our sector. It appears to be probing the Troloxian shield." The screen showed a massive black vessel extending tendrils of dark energy that pressed against the blue shimmer of a phase shield. "Can the shield hold?" Krex asked, his voice betraying his concern for his homeworld. Dr. Chen, the shield's chief engineer, studied the readings. "Standard configuration, yes, but they're learning, adapting. They'll find a way through eventually." Alina made a decision. "We need to stop playing defense." "Dr. Chen, what about the dimensional trap concept you proposed?" "It's theoretical," Chen replied. "We could modify the shield generators to create a pocket dimension that would trap anything inside when activated, but it would be a one-way trip. Someone would need to activate it manually from within the trap zone." A heavy silence fell over the command center. "How many traps would we need?" Alina finally asked. 7, Chen said after calculating. "Strategically placed to catch the majority of the harvester fleet. 7 suicide missions, 7 crews who wouldn't return." "I'll take the first one," Krex said suddenly. Everyone turned to look at him. "My people refused your help because of politics. I can at least offer myself." Before Alina could respond, reports flooded in from across the galaxy. The harvesters were now directly attacking shielded worlds, their methods becoming more aggressive with each attempt. "We don't have time to debate," Alina announced. "Dr. Chen, begin modifying 7 shield generators. We need volunteers for each mission." The response was immediate. Humans and aliens alike stepped forward, willing to sacrifice themselves to save billions of lives. 3 days later, 7 ships waited at strategic points throughout the galaxy. Each carried a modified shield generator powerful enough to create a dimensional pocket that would trap anything within its range. Alina's voice reached each ship through quantum communications. "All trap teams, report status." One by one, they confirmed readiness. Humans working alongside aliens who had been enemies just weeks before, now united in their final mission. "Remember," Alina said, "the trap must be activated from inside the zone. Once the harvesters enter your area, move to the center point and activate. The dimensional shift will be permanent." On Trap Ship 3, Captain Miguel Santos looked at his mixed crew of humans and Zendari. They had become friends despite their differences. Now they would die together. "Earth Command, this is Trap 3, he reported. "Multiple harvester ships entering our sector, moving to position now." Around the galaxy, the other trap ships sent similar reports. The harvesters, drawn by the unusual energy signatures, were converging on the traps. "All teams," Alina's voice was steady despite her emotions, "you are authorized to activate on your command. The galaxy will remember your sacrifice." Captain Santos watched the massive black ships surrounding his vessel. His Zendari communications officer placed a clawed hand on his shoulder in silent support. "For Earth, for Xandar, for all of us," Santos said, then pressed the activation button. Across the galaxy, 7 lights flashed as the traps closed. 1 year after the Harvester confrontation, representatives from over 200 worlds gathered in Earth's Global Assembly Hall. The room buzzed with dozens of languages as species that had once been enemies now sat side by side. Elena stood at the center podium, looking out at the extraordinary gathering. Beside her stood Zurl, now the appointed head of the new Galactic Cooperation Council. "Today, we remember those who sacrificed everything to save us all," Elena began. The 7 trap crews captured nearly 80% of the Harvester fleet. The remaining ships retreated beyond the galaxy's edge. A moment of silence filled the massive hall. On the wall behind Elena, images of the heroes appeared, humans and aliens who had given their lives in the dimensional traps. But their sacrifice brought more than just victory, Elena continued. "The dimensional rifts created by the traps have forever changed our understanding of physics and space travel." Screens around the hall showed the strange new phenomena that had appeared throughout the galaxy. Permanent tears in the fabric of reality that glowed with energy from other dimensions. Initially feared, these rifts had proven to be doorways to new scientific discoveries. The old Galactic Council kept knowledge restricted, believing that certain paths of development attracted the Harvesters, Elena explained. But we now know it wasn't technological advancement they feared, it was unity. Zurl stepped forward. "The Harvesters have culled our galaxy for millions of years, keeping species divided and suspicious of each other. Earth's decision to hide and observe accidentally broke this cycle. When humanity finally revealed itself, it did something unprecedented. It shared its technology freely with former enemies." The assembled delegates applauded. Many worlds owed their survival to the phase shields Earth had provided. "The new Galactic Cooperation Council will not be based on fear and secrets," Zurl continued. "All knowledge will be shared, all voices will be heard, and Earth will be a founding member, bringing its unique perspective to our collective future." After the ceremony, Elena stood with Zurl on a balcony overlooking the assembly hall as delegates mingled below. "The dimensional rifts are stable," Elena said, reviewing data on her tablet. "Dr. Chen's team believes they can be used for near-instantaneous travel between star systems. A new era of exploration," Zurl mused, "made possible because Earth chose to share rather than conquer." "We had good teachers," Elena smiled. "Watching the galaxy's mistakes from behind our shield taught us what not to do if we ever revealed ourselves." A young aide approached with an urgent message. "Dr. Rice, the first exploration team has returned from Dimensional Rift 7. Elena's eyes widened as she read their report. They found something on the other side. Not just new stars or planets, but evidence of other galaxies that faced the Harvesters. Some survived. Zurl's 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession. "We're not alone in this fight." "We never were," Elena replied. "We just needed to look beyond our borders." Later that evening, Elena visited the Memorial Garden, where monuments honored those lost in the confrontation. Ambassador Krex's statue stood among them, though no body had ever been recovered from the dimensional traps. As she placed a flower at the base, her communicator beeped with a strange signal, coming from inside Dimensional Rift 3. The message was brief, distorted, but unmistakable. "Still here. Found something incredible. Border not the end. It's just the beginning." Elena smiled as she looked up at the night sky. The stars no longer represented danger or the unknown, but possibility. The map no longer faded to black at Earth's border. It extended into new dimensions, new futures that humans and aliens would explore together. "We're coming," she whispered to the stars. "All of us. Together."